Welcome back. We're still in this root tunnel, still exploring the various chambers that are down here, right at the bottom of this tree. There's a strange glowing gravitational mass here. It does seem to be attracting these little balls of stuff. They could very well be pollen. We could be aiding in some kind of reproductive cycle here, which is a bit weird when you think about it. With enough pulling, the forces are broken. They seem to have shattered whatever that was, and it's spat out the glowing thing inside it. And there's several references here to Amanita's other games. That's their logo there, the little Amanita mushroom. And the robot that poked that out there, that's a reference to Machinarium. It's one of their other point-and-click games. It's a really good game, actually. It's a little bit more difficult than this one. This one's a bit more of a relaxed game, but Machinarium has some proper point-and-click puzzles, you know, the really obtuse stuff. And that's a reference there to Samarost and Samarost 2, which I believe were their first games. You could say all of this breaks the fourth wall a little bit, but I mean, this game is so strange anyway. It's not really like it could get much stranger without, you know, breaking the fourth wall anyway, but that was just for a creature card in there. So this guy's sad that his trumpet has gone missing, or he doesn't have one. I'd like to think that somebody stole it off him. Because he looks so sad, he wouldn't miss what you've never had, would you? Might as well get all of these guys going at once. There is an optimal order again with these things to get them to all do their thing at once. But I decide to not bother with it. So there's the trumpet thing we're looking for. It's behind this big scary thing. Who does not seem keen to part with it, sadly, so we're gonna have to find a way to get behind him. Here's one of the more maze-like parts of this route system. You can get a creature card for these little creatures that are scurrying around, but it seems a little bit random on how you get it. You just seem to have to walk down these tunnels a few times. Oh, we found a puppet show. It's a rather bloody puppet show, I'll give it that. They seem to enjoy it though. So now we're starring inside our own puppet show now. Is that foreshadowing? I think so. Quite bloody indeed. You can see there's a little blue glowing thing on there. I should have got it, but it's it only opens for like a second and then it closes again. I'll come back for it later. So I've got a creature card for that. So that is technically a creature that has somehow evolved to have puppet shows that show the future, which is a little bit odd, but you know, it's like I said, you can't really break the fourth wall in a world like this. It's just too weird. And that maze is very, very confusing as well. So here's a strange little part of the root system that we haven't been to yet. And this guy is telling us what we already knew, really, that we need to collect those things. We've already got one, and we know where one of them is. I don't know why I clicked on him 3 times. Just making sure, you know. So here's someone else who's missing something. And we have seen that before, in those circus performers. We actually were running on top of one of those like a big ball. It's actually somebody's eye, which is rather horrific. Can be quite confusing getting around this place. There it is. So I did try to knock him off there in some way. Maybe this guy's spring would knock him off. But really you have to replace the ball. I had to give him something else to roll around on. So yeah, you can't knock him off. His skills are too great. You can even bounce on it when it's practically at a 90-degree angle from the ground. I did try to bring this gong again with this swinging guy, but it just never seems to get in the right place. I was just trying to see if we could catch a ride on the little helicopter thing there. Alas, we cannot. It is quite fun playing with those things anyway, even if I do get a bit carried away. I feel kind of bad for waking up the child there. But I do it again. It does take a while for the animations to play out sometimes. There's somebody else who looks quite sad. There's a lot of thievery going on in this place. So apparently a big worm thing came in and ate his light source. That's not very nice at all. So this guy's foraging these plant things for his child. Or her child, I suppose. It could be a female. There's no real standard in nature. Sometimes the male looks after a child, sometimes the female does. They do seem to grow back though, so it's a sustainable ecosystem. There's another one of those blue things in there. I keep missing it. I'm not really looking out for them, I'm just trying to solve the puzzles. So after a quick Google, I found myself in this place. This is kind of like one of those puzzles where you move a thing around and try not to touch the edge. Well, you don't lose for touching the edge here, but it does slow you down. It's unclear what this worm thing wants with it. It looked like it was eating it, but if it's just sat there, then why wouldn't it finish eating it? Maybe it's saving it for Sunday dinner? Or maybe it's actually something more cherished than food. Could even be one of its eggs. Who knows? So now I've got that light source, we can go back and find the guy who wants it and see what he has to offer for us. Still a bit tricky trying to get there though. It's the way you you don't always come out where you're expecting to come out. Like the map is a very definite diagram with each chamber linked up by corridors, but sometimes you click left and end up going right. It's confusing. Well, this place looks better already. We've somehow aided a reproductive process here as well. And here's a mole. It looks like a beach mole. It's grown on a plant. So I guess it's a beach mole plant. So now we can go retrieve that creature's eye from those circus folks. Actually a lot more happy with it. I would imagine the ball is a lot more suitable for running around on. I think the eyeball is probably a bit slimy and squishy. The symbols that glow on these little corridors do point the way to what is actually in the chambers. So they do make it a little bit easier to find your way around. But I still managed to get lost. Yes, it's that bottom one we're looking for there. So far I only collected 2 of those, even though I've actually seen quite a few that I somehow managed to miss. But we're getting there, we're making progress. There we go, there's your eye back. Mind if we jump inside your head? Well, okay then. So now we're apparently underwater. So this must be some kind of underground lake. So you can see this peanut thing is wearing a helmet. He won't give it to us, so we're gonna have to fight him for it. And by fight, I mean race little ladybug things. Just as soon as I figure out the controls. Yeah, it actually uses the arrow keys the first time. You can also click and hold on the thing moving around in the middle. Again, it's really not a very difficult race. It just requires reactions when you finish. See, his helmet jumps up and down. I tried to click it, just to grab it, but that is not the way to solve the puzzle. You have to knock it off his head with that. And even though I pressed that immediately after the little helmet dance, I still didn't figure it out. But oh well. Hindsight is always 20/20. So yeah, a bit like Mario Kart, you can spit out if you hit. The other bug, I did try and lose here, deliberately, to see if that would, you know, encourage him to be generous. It actually makes no difference. He still does the same jumping up and down. So you can actually just skip that minigame altogether. There's a little X in the top right if you wanted to press it. It seems a bit strange though that we've done this 3 times. I did try this time to see if it was a best of 3. It's logical. But yeah, we raced 3 times and every time he gives us the same bug to control. You think he would learn if he wanted to keep winning. Some more creature cards for the fanciful glow-in-the-dark creatures down here. Well, there's one of the blue things. I actually spot this one this time. Because it's pretty much the only thing there, so... And yes, there is actually a map of these areas down here. Even though it seems a bit dank and murky. Aha! We found another one of these wheels. But this guy is protecting it. It was right about now that I actually learned if you double click these arrows to move off screen, you actually move a lot faster. So that's nice to know. So this guy has a really sticky... what are those things called? Proboscis? Yeah. That's kind of what it looks like. I mean, it looks like it's got an eye on the end, but I doubt anybody's optic nerve would be this stretchy. So let's lasso this fella, see if we can get underneath him to get this little wheel. There we go. I'm sorry, guy. We need those things. For some reason. This bit kind of reminds me of that part in Cosmos. Carl Sagan's Cosmos. You know, when they do like the line drawings and go through the evolution of everything. It's pretty iconic. Just having a check to see if I've missed anything down here. And next time, I'll probably actually figure out that I need to go get that helmet and how to do it. And we'll continue to miss the blindingly obvious what's right in front of our face, as I have been doing so far. I'll see you next time.